Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners of all ages, welcome to the YakPom Podcast with your co-hosts, Yakman and Gohpom. Wisconsin kindergarten isn't exactly thorough, you know?
You guys are blood brothers?
Yes.
Okay. Who's the oldest? He is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm almost 40. You see all this beautiful young magic?
Weird.
I'm almost 40.
I definitely didn't guess almost 40.
I'm 37 years old.
He makes being old look good.
How old are you?
Mature. He makes being mature look good. I'm sorry, bro.
Mature? No, definitely the wrong adjective there, bro. Wrong description.
Oh, you even have a Punisher tattoo?
Yes, I got the Punisher hat, Punisher tattoo.
Yep.
I got skull over here.
Oh, that's nice.
I like me skulls. But the red's all faded. The eyes were red. Now they're just like disappointingly.
See, I see the Fortnite
bleak.
llama. Now I'm guessing you're 21, 22.
28.
Okay.
Our family is like gifted with youthfulness. Like everybody
Then he's
talks
not that
about
old.
it. Like, yeah.
I was gonna say,
I keep the beard because if I shave, people are like, "Aren't you like
Baby
18
face?
or 19?" And I'm just like, I can drink, okay? I've got my ID. Like, just chill.
I am terribly baby-faced. Oh, yep.
Oh,
It must be a family thing.
Please don't. Please don't.
Welcome on in, everybody. We're getting our rogue mixed up, but we got the lovely YourLuckyClover here today as our guest.
Yes.
Hello.
Oh my goodness. Sorry, it's really hard to. I got markings on the side, but it's like because it's dark blue, like you can barely even see them. They don't even show up on camera.
I've got my bang energy.
Well, I'm
Red Bull.
I'm
Bang's
terrible.
good too. I do like Bang, but it just makes my heart race so fast. Like the sweet tea one, I feel my heart rate from all the caffeine, and it's comparative to 3 cups of coffee. It says. So
Yeah, I try to limit it in spurts unless I'm like I really need an energy hit because otherwise, it gets you going.
Well, I'm doubling down because I've got caffeinated water that I'm mixing up my rogue with.
Did you say lewd joke? So is this 18 and up?
This is 18 and up. You are allowed to swear,
Yeah.
you know, as long as it's within TOS, obviously you stream, you know how it goes.
Yeah, as long as it's with Twitch, because we can always go back and change up the podcast.
Because you said something about it gets it up, and you're drinking a blue drink, so.
Oh, I see what you're doing there. Yeah. No, we want it to be where people can come on and you just be yourself.
Yeah.
Like, and it was kind of funny because like I vape on stream and I don't even think about what other people might be worried about with coming live. So we did the interview with Vampire a few weeks ago. And then after we got off, he lit up a cigarette right away. And I'm like, oh man, we probably had this poor guy Jones in for the last hour and a half.
That felt so bad.
It was like, man, we want it to be where like just anybody comes in and they feel like, you know, it's just hanging out with the peeps.
Share your story, your journey from your perspective, unfiltered, within Twitch terms and conditions.
How'd you get here? How'd you keep all 4 petals on the clover? Give us the deets.
Well, I guess it started back around Halloween 2017. I was gifted Dead by Daylight. I played a lot of games growing up. My first one was actually, we'll start from the beginning, Tekken.
Yes.
Tekken, the original. So I was huge into that PlayStation and Twisted Metal. And that's when I became a huge Rob Zombie fan and lover of metal. I'm a metalhead.
Awesome. Yes.
And so, but anyways, from that time, I played other games and stuff, but being a female, and my family's pretty old school, so it's like when the Game Boy came out, I wasn't allowed a Game Boy, but my twin brother was, and because, you know,
that's dirty. Like in our family, you share that. You don't get your own, you share it with your siblings. That's, ooh.
And I remember when I got my own PS2, I was so excited about it because I used to play this game called Kaya. And it was like a first-person female game, and I think it was like one of the first ones that I really saw like a female character, and it was actually just fun to play. I wish they would remake that. That's actually one of my favorite ones. And then moving forward, when I was like 13, first PC game was StarCraft. Loved it.
Nice.
And I remember back when dial-up was a thing.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And it was at my grandfather's house too. So like, because like he would have it for the kids. He had the computer. He had his old Dell and his Dell computer, and we would sit there and we had to like switch on and off and take turns, but I loved it. That's whenever I became like pro toss player and power overwhelming. But fast forward to 2017, I was gifted Dead by Daylight, and I hate scary games. I hate them with passion, but I still did it.
Though,
but I was such a weenie about it. Like, I couldn't handle it. I was literally like crawling in the game like as much as I could. Now it's just I'm not as scared, but I still get jump scares. But back then, my friends were laughing. I was dating my daughter's dad at the time, so like him and I were still together. His best friend was like, "This is hilarious. Her reactions are hilarious." I'm like, "This isn't funny." I like quit the game, closed it out, and I was like, "I'm never playing this game again." He's like, "You should stream." And I was like, "I don't know what that is." He goes, "People would love to watch your reactions." I'm like, "Who would want to watch a girl scream? Oh, like, and can't even play the game?" He's like, "You would be hilarious just to 90% watch."
Of Twitch.
And so I was like, I don't know what this is. So I went and looked on Twitch, and the first thing I saw was somebody doing yoga. And because I was looking at girls, like I saw guys, and like I found a girl streamer, but I didn't understand it back then, and it probably wasn't the right person to find, because I immediately was like, I'm not doing that. And I had no idea what Twitch was. So I immediately closed out, and I'm like, I'm not gonna do that. Why would I do yoga on TV? Like, there's no one playing Dead by Daylight. But then they showed me around, like, because we all got together for New Year's, they showed me, you're going to the wrong pages. I don't know what you're looking at, but there's categories. And I'm like, oh, I don't know how I found it, but it was some chick at the time. Yep. Here they showed me girls that actually are playing games. And I'm like, yes, I want to do what they're doing. So January, my ex and I had split, but he still helped me get set up on a 580 GPU computer that was crapping itself already. And my first game, so I started giving it a try, but something happened, pushed me 2 weeks later than what I wanted to start. And I networked on Twitter, because at the time I set up my Twitter, I set up everything, because I read that, networking is a huge thing. So I got on Twitter, and then I networked for those 2 weeks. I found out more about Twitch because I wanted to not have that association still. I want to find people that I could maybe look up to and meet with. And then I started January 28th, and I remember my ex telling me, he told me about what affiliate is, and like what the things of what you should do and what you should go for. And his best friend was telling me about it too. And he's like, don't expect to get anything. It could take you maybe a year. It could take you 2 years. You're not going to go far. So you'll be lucky if you even get a few followers or something. And I was discouraged. And on my third day of streaming as Heroes of the Storm, I met all the qualifications except for the 7 days of streaming. And I didn't tell him anything, because at the time, him and I lived together, but we were lived separately until we figured out, because we have a daughter. And then on the 7th day, I got affiliate, and I was like, I got it!
That's awesome. You just like beat all expectations.
Here's awesome. The Storm. And then I dabbled in SOS at the time. It was a survival game. And then I focused, sadly, on Fortnite, which I never did that. But that was my first FPS, computer FPS, because I was a new computer gamer. I was so used to Heroes of the Storm, StarCraft, the clicky games, not WASD. But I remember going like this, trying to learn. And I would have to train my fingers.
Oh my goodness, right?
When you're a controller gamer and like you're used to that controller, it's hard. It's like you literally have to do the claw.
I'm still struggling with it, honestly.
So you're new at
I have a gaming PC, but I literally plug in my controller just so I can I'm so used to Xbox.
Yeah,
it's such a hard transition. It's such a hard transition.
Well, Gohpom remembers, I used to do a lot of computer gaming as a teenager. But then when I moved out and got a little bit older, I'm like, you know what? I'm tired of needing to upgrade my computer every time I want to look at the next title that I like. So I switched to console for a while. Now, flash ahead to 2 years before now, I ended up Gohpom, you're talking to streaming, and I got into PC gaming, and I love it, but I still use one of these guys. I got my corded controller for Fortnite, but other games I use mouse and keyboard I'm good at, but Oh,
It's so hard. I
it
tried
is.
going back on controller. Now, Tekken, give me that controller. Like, I love
I
Tekken.
feel like it's definitely like I feel like fighter games like that. It's definitely the controller. I don't know why. Maybe that's
Yep.
just like the retro feel.
I'm a
Like
But
button masher. I gotta have them. I gotta have them to smash.
there's this thing I saw when I was at TwitchCon 2018, and I forget what that board is called, but it's like the old arcade board, but you can get it and buy it and play with it. And I'm like, that'd be cool to have.
Nice.
But yeah. But I guess like more about like where my name came to be. My original gamer name used to be Fox Ice. 'Cause I love elemental stuff. I don't know why I went with Fox Ice. It was like my old StarCraft name when I was like 13, and I just went with Fox Ice 7 or something. But then as I probably whenever I got to be 23, I changed it to like Lucky Clover. And because everybody always called me Lucky. So that's where it came from, because I would find 4-leaf clovers and certain situations I would get lucky in. Like won a few bucks off of a lottery ticket. I've never lost off of a lottery ticket. It's been like
so
either
we're
another
going
free
to a
one.
gas station
What?
afterwards. And they're
Yeah.
gonna hand you some money, is what I'm hearing.
The
That's
most I
that's
won
what I
was
heard.
$200 because I was adamant. I just had the feeling it was lucky. So I keep all of my clovers. I'll tell you a backstory about it.
Oh my goodness.
No, here's a
that's awesome.
5-leaf. Here's a 5-leaf.
You actually have
What?
the clovers. That
And I
is-
give them out to friends for good luck. This is my most recent one. Wait, if I can get
Oh
closer.
my goodness.
And
This isn't
I
just a
find 'em, like,
theme. This is
outside.
a lifestyle for you. I
It's a
love it.
lifestyle.
So-
do you eat like a salad of clovers for lunch? I have to ask.
Ooh, no.
Oh, that sounds sacrilegious.
But
That's where the luck comes from.
But my grandmother, she used to find them too, and she passed away when I was 12.
Aw.
Fast forward to 6 months after she passed, I turned 13. I was outside for a science class thing. I found my first 4-leaf clover, and it was as if she was saying that she was there. She was looking over me. She loves me.
Aw.
So I kept it. I remember taking it, and I tried to like tape it onto this thing because I tried to preserve it because it was special. Unfortunately, it kind of fell apart because I couldn't really save it
Just
because
so
it fell apart
fragile.
in the book. But from then on, anytime I would just be sitting there and I would see it. And people who know me know I have the crap sight. So they'll be like, it's right there in front of you. I'm like, and it's literally right there, like a big object. But like I'll walk and I'll just get this feeling, and then I'll look down. I'm like, oh, a clover. And people who know me have witnessed this. They're like, how do you find these? What is this? And I'm like, it's my grandma saying that she loves me and she's thinking of me. I have found 187 of them. I just found this one here a couple weeks ago, and
That's
I even
amazing.
kiss them, laminate them. I've given them to friends and family, hoping that it gives them luck. So people keep them in their wallet, their coat pocket, wherever they want to keep
We
it.
need these, bro. We need these. Yeah, that's special.
I
Blaze
like
says,
that.
Welcome, Desi Love.
Here's my business card. It's rare. Hold on to that.
Oh.
By the way, chat, just saying, I want to say hi to I see Lucky Clover. You commented in my chat. Ferocious, welcome, and Mike Plays, welcome as well. Sorry, guys, we do love chat, and we normally go way out of our way to try and engage with everyone, but during the podcast, we try to focus on our interview a little bit because I'm a lazy editor, and I don't want to cut out a bunch of stuff.
Yes, if you want to follow Lucky Clover, below
Yes.
down here, exclamation point guest in the chat, click on her link. If you missed some of the podcast or missed some of the story, if you have questions you want to ask, feel free to drop in the chat. Otherwise, we will be recording this audio. We will be saving this video for you to check out later. Life gets busy.
It does. It does. So I want to touch back quick on this twin thing because I happen to have twins. I have 2 firstborn. So what was
Thank you, Blaze.
What was that like for you? Share some of those experiences, because I kind of wonder with my daughters sometimes, like, what is it really like to have
2
like this
girls?
mirror image? Yes, 2 identical redheads. I tell everyone I'm a ginger spawner. So
If you can't stream, do you have your twin stand in? Have you ever done that or considered it? I'm curious now.
That would be so cool when they get older. Like, just swap off. Oh my gosh. No, I have a fraternal brother. So unfortunately, I tried to dress him up like a girl. It didn't work.
Gotcha. Fair enough. Fair enough. You can only do so much, right?
She
He was the
tried,
quiet
chat.
one.
She tried.
We're 16 minutes apart, and we had a really good relationship growing up until we got older. We would fight like cats and dogs, but then we were also really close. It's like he was allowed to pick on me, and like to the point. Oh, the one I remember the most, touching you.
Oh, the not touching you, not touching
I
you.
hate that. Even to this day, I don't want anyone pointing at me. But but then we kind of got back closer as we got older, and we have kids. We have both daughters, firstborn daughters, and they're 3 months apart. But growing up, we had that twin sense. I do remember that there was something that happened whenever he was playing football. We were 14, and I just remember saying that my arm hurt. And I said to my mom, I was like, my arm hurts. It really, really hurts. And here he got hurt at football, and he had to he got sprained and stuff. I had to get wrapped everything for a few weeks.
Dang.
Yeah, that is fascinating.
Get that boy some clovers.
Yeah.
I swear there's something to that twin connection thing, because like I was all excited. I was researching it a little bit when Lady Yak and I found out we were having twins, and like some twins will develop like an entire language between themselves that they understand and nobody else does.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, cool. My kids are gonna come up with like the next big language, like. So I was always keeping an eye on like how they would communicate and stuff. That was just always fascinating to me, because like there is a bond there, and it's funny that they'll practice timing, saying the same thing just for the kicks of it, because they would do it, and then we would find it funny or cute, and then they would try to do it more on purpose and be like, no, it's funnier when it's organic. You can't be trying that hard.
he was more quiet, so like I would try to answer for him, especially in classes. I would try to answer for him because he would just sit there and he'd be quiet, and then I'm like, they're like, could you talk? And I'm like, he wants this, and then he would just be like, and I'm like, I don't know, he could talk, he was fine, but he just chose not to because he was so shy. And then people were like, no, let him talk. And my mom would definitely like try to be like, hey, stop answering for him. He needs to learn to do it for himself. And then it got to a point where I'd be like, do you want that extra? Would you like a piece of cake? He doesn't want that. I want that. No, he wants that cake, or just like things like that. We started picking on each other. I do remember, if he did something in school, I went and snitched. I was the snitch.
Oh.
I went and snitched on him a few times, because like he would be doing something and I would be like, you can't do that. But I was like, I grew up to be the like peer mediator in school. I was vice president of my class, and like I was very like.
I feel like you're very outgoing.
There's that reserve side, but I was very outgoing in that sense of sports and clubs. I was a nerd.
Yeah. Well, like, speaking of like communication, like, because you said on Twitter when you started streaming on Twitch, like you said you networked on Twitter. Like, I feel like everybody when they start, they're like, you need to go on Twitch, you need to find like 5 streamers around your level, you need to sit in their chat, you need to talk to them, you need to get in their Discord, you need to like their Instagram, you know, a photo from like 8 years ago, and yada yada yada. Like, what did that look like? Because to me, that's a very different way of doing it. When
I became a mom, I had a lot of time whenever I was like, because I breastfed for a year, like there was time in between that while I was breastfeeding. I'm like, what am I going to be doing? I am on my phone. I need to find activities. I actually had another Twitter account that had 16,000 following. I could have used that, but it was already like, it's like an anonymous one. It was just kind of like me posting like funny, quirky stuff. It was just something to post stuff on. Now I put my picture on it and I'll post quirky things. I don't really focus on that one as much. But I remember my friends saying, oh, you should go with that. But that one's about wine humor and stuff. Like, what? That has nothing to do with gaming. Those people followed me based on the humor that I put on that. So as for networking and things, I'm like, yeah, it'd be nice to have that, but that's not a true following base. That's not a true gaming base.
Not like a part of your brand in some ways. It's kind of a different genre audience.
Yep. So that's whenever I created my new one. And I had to start from the bottom. And it was hard. It was hard networking. It was hard getting a following. So I focused on consistency on posting, making sure I even looked in what best times to post, what days were the best. And I kind of already knew that prior.
Well, with 16,000, you must have been doing something right. I mean, that's very impressive numbers.
That's pretty good.
Yep, because my friend too, she's the one who started to get me into it. And she's got over 100,000 followers on her one, and it's just an anonymous account that she just posts her daily thoughts and things. She's a teacher, so she can't really put her
That
stuff out,
I
her
feel
face
like
out
that's a
there.
very
But
smart thing to do, like for you to be able to voice your opinion without being, kind of
yep.
put behind a wall or buried or gatekeep by people.
No, one thing that she did though to get up to where she got, I do remember her saying there was a lot of people that would try to do the follow. I noticed that happen to me as a gamer. And if I didn't follow them back, they would unfollow me. And I remember I used to do this app where I had notifications like, oh, you just got unfollowed. And it was so discouraging. Don't bother with
Oh,
those
so
because
It's
you're
turn
going to
that off, is
stress
such,
my
about it.
opinion. Yeah, it
Yes.
is interesting, Blaze. Welcome,
Don't.
Big from State Farm.
it's crazy. Like when you first get into streaming, it's easy to look at follow for follow and be like, oh my gosh, I can grow. Like, look at all these people. But they, like you say, if you don't follow, they unfollow. If you do follow, they still come back in the next day or two and unfollow. They never show up in your chat. They're never actually a viewer contributing and helping build a community. And there's absolutely no activity. It's a very short term, what do you call it? Instant gratification kind of tactic when it comes to streaming. And so yeah, we try to discourage it as much as we can, just
Like, you
because
scratch my back, I'll scratch your back, and then if you don't scratch my back enough, I'm gonna stop scratching your back altogether. Not because I'm there, because I enjoy your content and I want to support you as a person. And I hate that because it's not about who does what more. Like, okay, I followed you, I'm also a content creator. When are you gonna notice my stuff? It's not about that. Like,
no.
to have that thought process, like how they're if that person already
It's
has
pretty
that thought
selfish,
process,
honestly.
they're not going to grow. Those people that have that thought process. But
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and with you being a mom and juggling having kids and set schedules and stuff, and then things don't always go that way, especially with kids. I lived with my sister after she had her first kid, and that was pretty tough being an uncle there. But I mean, I kind of got a firsthand experience to see everything and what it looks like. But
yeah,
it's just crazy how you were able to still juggle all that and do what you do. It's like if you can take the time to still meet up with people and do things, like what's other people's excuse?
exactly. Exactly. That was the hardest part, was time management. When I first started streaming, I kept it to 3 days a week, and I don't stream until after my daughter's in bed. Like,
Mm.
that's whenever I stream, and that's where a lot of my following base and my viewer base came from. So it's really hard to change it to daytime because that's a whole new ballpark then.
Family
I
comes first, yeah.
but then I'm like, because I have her, my ex and I, we share 50-50. So there are days where I don't have her, but then that's time that I can use to create content. Back before COVID happened, I had a full-time job. So at the time I was working long shifts and I still balanced 3 days a week, but I wouldn't start till 9 and I would stream till 12. But I kept myself off at a certain time. I started at a certain time. I made sure I ended at a certain time, so I'm getting sleep and then focusing on other things too and balancing that. And it's hard.
It is hard. That's awesome. You've been able to achieve that, because I still fumble with that pretty hard. I've got some PTSD stuff, so that doesn't help, because I end up, sometimes I will legit be awake for 2 or 3 days at a clip, and then I'll get like 4 or 6 hours of sleep, and then it'll be another 2 or 3 days, and it's crazy. But when I'm sleeping good, I'm able to be a little bit more consistent. It's tough though, because Lady Yak's working full time and she's got a varying schedule, and now the kids are off school for summer, so it's like, well, I gotta set up some things for them to be entertained a little bit, and then I've been able to stream in the afternoon now that they're older, and they're getting up there in elementary grade age. But yeah, like even a few years ago, like there was no chance of daytime streaming, and I too was starting to stream at night all the time. But what I found recently for myself is, by the time my kids are in bed, I'm so worn out from fielding 800 questions and whipping up meals and cleaning up messes, that I don't have the energy to go live and be my goofy self. I'm just a crabby panda at that point. So I miss it. But yeah, streaming at night is a lot of fun, and I'm glad you've been able to tackle the time management, because I know for me personally, I really struggle with that sometimes, and I know other people do too. But it's one of those things you really just got to focus, and you got to really work hard at it. Hey, I see the emotes.
There's times where the time that you get for yourself as a parent isn't until they go to bed. So during that time, the
Very
content
high
creation,
priority. Yeah.
this is my job. I count this as this is what I'm doing. This is my job. And I know hate's a strong word, but I really dislike people saying like what you do isn't a job. Content creation is a job. Okay, what about actors? There's times where actors go without being paid until they get contracted, or even then, you don't know. And if you're going to get in, same with modeling, like just acting in general, like, okay, well, you watch TV, you watch actors, you're supporting them. Why is gaming different? Oh, well, because you're a mom, you're a woman, you doing those things isn't a good expectation. Like my mom's one of those too. My mom's very like, I don't like that you do this. This isn't good for a mom. Okay. Like, again, it's that same aspect. I get it. You grew up in a different time. I understand that. But times have changed. Times are different. And what makes it different about what I love about this is that's how this can be something that's a career. If it makes you happy, and that's what makes it a career. If it's a job is something you go to and you're going day by day and it's just to make ends meet. But are you
It's a
really
financial
happy?
obligation. It's not a
Usually not.
passionate choice.
Yeah.
That's how I kind of define the two.
Like, it's not like a lot of people say, well, I'm going to quit my daytime job. Well, it's not glamorous. Like, yeah, I worry about making ends meet. Yes, I worry about like there's never a guarantee amount, but I love what I'm doing, and that's why you keep pushing. You gotta reach for other outlets such as YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. Instagram's really hard for me. I just don't really post too much on there. But whenever it comes to Twitter, I love doing funny, quirky things, or just you want to make sure you post everywhere. Whatever outlet you can do as a content creator, you want to reach out every platform. But then you got to learn how to edit those videos to fit the needs of that platform.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
TikTok,
it's
Instagram are two different ball games.
oh my
Facebook, there's
gosh.
certain things that you can do. And I think that's a big mistake smaller streamers make is they will take one Twitch clip of an amazing like period and they'll post it on all their stuff, which isn't bad. But I'm like, okay, I see you play that game and that's the only game you play and that's the only thing you post. Like, well, I see on your stream you're like hanging out with your cat or dog. I want to see more of that. I like me a good cat and a good dog. Tell me more about yourself. And I think it's learning the grooves and ebbs and flows of each platform. And like, I feel like pets do great on Instagram and Twitter. I know I
Absolutely.
enjoy them.
Well, it's about diversifying. I think a lot of people overlook that. Yeah, you can have an awesome clip on Twitch, but if you're trying to build regulars that are coming back and you're posting the same clip on 7 different platforms and social medias, people aren't going to be jumping around to them to like and share and interact with all of them. If you're doing different content on each, though, I don't know. I feel like the interactivity is better that way,
Yeah. Oh, and Reddit. That's another good one. You can
Yes.
find a lot on Reddit. So I forget about that platform at times, but back to the me time again. The most time for a parent is whenever you go to sleep. So for me, as soon as I end stream, a little bit before I go to bed is that me time. So you gotta try to schedule so you can go to sleep. But I feel you, Yak. There's times where I don't sleep. I have insomnia really bad, and I'll be awake,
You
and
get
it's
it.
so hard. And I like last night. I heard the birds chirping. And it's daylight. And I'm like, I couldn't sleep. So it happens, and it's hard because then you got to get in that spirit of, all right, I got to be a parent. I got to do this. I got to go through everything I need to do, make sure the kids are all good. But then I also got to put it all away and be ready for stream and entertain. And that can be a lot for people.
Yeah.
Make sure you take you days and mental days because
The
it's
self-care and mental health days
Yeah.
so important.
Yep.
Yeah, it really is. I know Gohpom and I talk about this a lot, but earlier on in like my first year, I had a little burnout from that because I was just pushing and pushing and pushing. And
we were burning out all the time. It was so bad.
Yeah, but we loved streaming, so it was becoming our thing there, so
burnout, I guess, more like it.
Yeah,
have you ever experienced that? And like, what do you do when that happens? What is your way of like self-care? Especially as a parent.
Disconnect, find things that you love to do. For me, I almost had that recently because I have a lot of personal things going on. I don't want to touch too much base on it, but I thought about reading again, But instead I started learning more on editing. I do not know how to edit. So, but recently, my friend Mike plays games. He's been helping train me to make better video edits for YouTube and stuff, and just in general, just so I can focus on it. But it's turning something where I'm just sitting there, and you guys know as content creators, because you guys are on YouTube, you guys do these things. You have to sit there through hours of content and then sift through it, cut it up, and all that. All I ever did in the past couple months was just do little clips. I never did anything with them until recently. So and I love reading books, and I want to read a book because there's a book waiting for me, but I have this to do instead. And it's been a lot of fun, tweaking it and learning how to do it. And it's just so cool seeing how people do that. I can only imagine. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. I don't even know how to do all the things that other people do. So it is exciting, but disconnect. Turn everything off. Don't even be on your phone. Go outside. And some people are like, ooh, outside. Just go outside to a park. Do
Pokemon
something.
Go if you have to.
Sunlight.
Disconnect.
That's what I've been doing. So for me,
I mean, whatever it is that brings you happiness. Like for me, I used to go to the movie theater, but with COVID, now they're starting to open up. But I would love to go to the movies. That's what I would do too. Movies. Just watch something that brings back nostalgia. Friends, Big Bang Theory. Those are my go-to.
Yeah. Oh, such a great show.
I'm trying to think of other ones too. Family Guy. And then find someone to just talk to. Don't be alone in those times that you're having that mental break, because the last thing you want to do is feel more alone, because sometimes you're sitting there and you're unwinding, but then it feels so lonely. So don't let that happen.
Don't be a loner. I want to
I love that. I love that advice. Don't be a loner
during those times. Find that one friend, just one friend. You don't have to go to a group of people. Find that one you can confide in, and just chat it out or do something. Doesn't even have to be about your problem.
Absolutely, yeah. It's
Larry.
It's tough. It's so easy, especially if it's later in the hours of the day, or you're up when it's not necessarily your normal schedule, and there's no one to talk to, and then you're just kind of buried in your own thoughts, and it can you can go to some really dark places sometimes. So you just try to reach out, even if it's just entertaining your mind with something that you've always loved doing. But yeah, I recommend jumping into streams. I can't even count how many times I've jumped into somebody's stream because I felt like crap, and I would find a community that I thought had some tags I could vibe with, and check them out. And I've met some great people doing that. And so yeah, mental health is definitely big. So don't sit and suffer alone, as I say in my my one trigger message, my timer message for the suicide hotline, because it's like
when you're lonely.
Yeah. Oh man. So funny story. I'm glad you mentioned that. I was gonna do because for my YouTube I want to do like some separate funny comedy, and I've got a Cartman doll sitting around here somewhere, and I was gonna do an Omegle, a whole series on YouTube. Cartman goes on Omegle.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, I spent 10 minutes and I went through way more dick than I wanted to see. I was done. I gave up on the project. That one's just gonna sit on ice forever. It's just like oh man. Not what I was signing up for. Not what Cartman was signing up for either. So screw you guys. I'm not on Omegle.
I go on there to try to save people. I have actually gone on there before just to try to bring laughter to people. But yes, as you said, there's times where I'm just like, I remember my first experience in it, and I'm just thinking, it's gonna be a good time, and then I go and I'm like, hold on, I have something for this. Let me grab it. Right. Next. Right. Next. Get out of here. Right. But
such a lonely place.
But I do have a swimsuit for that, and it's a hairy swimsuit, and I have asked people if people want to see my belly, and I would dance and be like, and they're like, yeah, and I'm like, I'm like, it's hair. I was like, don't mind the hair. I actually had a guy legitimately tell me.
Oh my gosh.
Like, I was talking to him, and he's like, "How is a girl like you single?" And I'm like, and I have a video of it still. I just haven't done anything with it yet. I still need to edit it. But
The next YouTube
he
video,
goes,
will we see it? Will we not?
I thought about it
Oh,
because I
wanna
could
go
post
find
people,
out.
right? Like, did I need their permission? I didn't know how that worked. I see people post it on TikTok on Omegle because once they next them, you don't get them back. But yeah, the guy was talking to me, and I was like, yeah, but I'm single because some people don't like hair. And he's like, I don't understand. I don't see the problem with that. And I was like, really? And then like I pull up my shirt, and I'm like, this isn't bad. And he's like, oh. And I was like, oh, thanks. And then so I'm dancing, and I'm like petting it, and then I act like there's something in my belly button because there's a belly button on the swimsuit. And so like I pick at him, like, flick the lint, and he's like, why do you turn off the guy that's talking to you? And I'm just going, because it's what I do. And I'm just rubbing the belly.
It's for good luck. It's
Oh
for
my
good luck.
gosh.
It's a ritual, right?
I am dying. Like, I'm naturally fuzzy, but just I'm trying to picture what
It's from Amazon. This
Oh my God.
swimsuit. So it gets it's got a
Oh.
hairy butt too, but it's skin tone. So it's like legitimately like it blends in with me. And to make matters worse, I put underwear on top of it. So like, I had like the underwear sticking up with just my shorts. So it like when I pulled it up, it looked like my actual skin. It was beautiful.
Oh, you've got to post that somewhere.
Oh. When you get that video, let us know
Yes.
so we can spread it.
The reason why I have to crop it is because there's some things that quickly go by that I have to like next real quick, and then I just go to the next person, and some people were like, ew. I literally had a guy go, ew, and he was obviously on something, and then he goes, yeah.
I mean, to each their own. It's only kinky the first time, am I right? All right. Anyway. Oh my gosh. So, I wanted to touch base on something real quick here because my daughters, they see me stream, they see some other female content creators that I am friends with and know that game stream, and they want to be streamers. So, what advice or warnings or tips would you give to them or other young women who are aspiring to become a streamer? Because it's kind of a rough world out there. So what?
As you said,
what is the black and white facts on it? What are they looking
It's
at?
hard. It's hard because I actually just made a post about it too the other day on the social medias just to bring awareness to
I saw
content
that.
creators.
I saw that.
Yep.
So sad. And
Disappointing.
And they advertise it on COD, and I see the TTV, and we get downed, and it was suspicious. So I'm like, and everyone else is like, I think they're cheating. So I'm like, well, it says TTV. Let's watch him, and I'm gonna pull him up a while. I go to his chat. It's immediately people are saying that they're cheating. So I'm like, well, hey, that's why we came here, but I'm just here to validate it, just to see. I'm not calling him a cheater because I'm not gonna do that to him, but I also want to watch too, like if he is. And they got really defensive. So I just say something in the voice chat once we finally end the game, and I'm just like, hey, we just want to validate whether or not that was cheating. And then one guy goes, shut up, you're a woman, get a life. In the same game that we were both playing in. And a lot of people were saying like, oh, it's expected, it's the gaming world, or you need to toughen up. And that's not what I want my daughter to be raised to think, that because you're a woman, you just need to toughen it up. And it's a man's world. Then the men needs the young boys also need to be like taught that like
More open. The
that
world's changing. We're
that
equals.
everybody exactly that it's the same playing field. Like girls can do what guys do, and if a girl beats you in a game, it's not like it was back in childhood, like, oh, a girl beat you, ha ha ha, but if a guy beats you, it's expected because nobody laughs at a girl being beat by a guy. But if a girl beats a guy, then the boys dish on the guy saying, ha ha ha, she beat you. Because I actually was on a boys basketball team when I was in 4th grade, and I did pretty good at it because I remember I got like an award, and I was like, I played with my twin brother, but my brother thought it was weird that I was playing with him, because my twin brother was like, tried to stay away from me and wouldn't play with me while we were actually like practicing. So nobody wanted to practice with me because I was the only girl. And eventually it got to the point where I had to like step it up, and then I got to join the 5th grade girls basketball team, which was nice. But the way I got treated in basketball, some of them eventually learned to like accept me, and some of them were just like, it's a girl, I don't want to play with her. Why is she even on our team? And dealing with that, I think it's just bringing awareness that this could happen, and don't be discouraged. You continue to go and you inspire men and women. Don't worry about just inspiring one gender. Inspire everybody, because spreading that awareness will help make that change, because misogyny exists to this day. And the only way to change it is to bring awareness to it. Like those girls, like, and I worry about my daughter too, you know, bright-eyed, innocent, hasn't ever been talked like that to before. And the sad truth is that it will happen someday, because the change hasn't happened, but at least we can help them grow to the point where if that happens, you say that is not right, and you stand up for yourself.
Absolutely.
Do not sit there and say, I can't turn on my mic because I'm scared of them yell at me for being a woman. No, you are a woman. Guess what? Those people came out of a woman. They need to learn to respect.
I've heard
as my mom said. I was gonna say, sorry, bro. I just want to say, as my mom said, I brought you into this world. I can take you out, and I can make another one that looks just like you. Nobody's gonna notice the difference.
That's right.
So you stay put and keep your hands to home. And I'm still alive. I never fought back ever since. But women deserve to be respected and treated equally.
Absolutely. Well, I teach my daughters they can do anything they want to do. Like, you know, I've worked with my daughters on changing oil in a vehicle. I work with them on fixing things. Like, I raise my daughters from the perspective that I don't want them to ever need no man. You know what I mean? Like just to be strong and independent, and that I want them to be set up so that if they find the right person, you know, it's not because of some kind of weird dependency issue. It's just, it's natural and solid. And I don't want them to be ignorant to some of these things. I feel like myself, and I think Gohpom too would vouch a little bit. We were kind of sheltered in our childhood, and it's not that I want my girls to, I don't want them to be exposed to this toxic crap that exists, but it's out there.
I feel and that so like is very patriarchal, like just with how we were raised and things, and that's just been the norm. However, as society is moving on, like in more gender fluidity and what have you, like things are set up to change for the better, but it starts with us making those choices and calling it out as we see it, as you said.
Yep. Just raise them, like, be independent, and just have a mind of your own and speak up when something's not right. And if you see it happening, stick up for that other person, because those who are sitting there and you might not agree with it, your silence could be helping it, versus you being being silent is almost as if you're allowing it. It's just as bad as those going against it. So speaking up will help so much. I had people that would DM me and be like, "Go you, yeah, that's awesome." I was like, "Could you do me a favor and share this and comment on it and help?" But some of them didn't. So I don't know if maybe they're a little more private, and I understand that, but at the same time, we need to bring light to it, and it needs to show that there are people that stand back, and there are people that are scared to stick up for something that they believe in, because we live in a world where it's cancel society.
Yep. It makes you feel uncomfortable.
It reminds me of one of my favorite movie quotes of all time, and it comes from Boondock Saints, and it's in the opening scene where the twin brothers go up into the Catholic Church and the preacher's speaking, and he says there's no, something to the effect of, there's no greater sin than good men standing by and letting bad things happen. That was the gist of it. I messed that up, but like, you know, people need to remember we got a backbone, so make sure you show it, and don't tolerate that crap. Stand against it, man. So
that's awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, honestly. Of course.
Yeah. So, you know, my daughters bring up streaming, and I'm like, boy, oh boy. I worry about they're 9.
Okay. So they have a few years.
Oh yeah, there's time, but I know in their teen years they're going to want to start, and I I don't enjoy dealing with trolls in my channel, so you can imagine the dad rage I might have.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things like, I'm not sure I've got enough anxiety dealing tools for this yet. Like, oh man. So what is kind of like your mission statement, if you will? If you have like a sentence or two to tell people what your channel's about, what would that sentence or two be?
I would say it is a safe, positive environment that spreads good luck and cheer to those who come in. That would probably be one of the best part. And I'm also like, you can be a nerd, you can be whatever you want to be and feel safe. It's a place to get away from. But I think that the tagline would be the first part, but I wanted a place where I could go to get away from all the drama, which is what I experienced back then. I met people when I first started streaming. It made me realize I was glad that I ended that relationship because I got treated so much better. Now, again, yes, it's people behind a computer, and people sometimes end up treating others better because they're sitting behind a computer and they're not really, you don't know if they're being genuine or not. But I have met some legit, genuine people and made the best friends I'm still really good friends with to this day. And I've even gone to cons with them. I've met up with them. I just remember, my parents saying, you can't possibly have friends on the internet. They're on the internet. Like, that same old school mentality that, the internet. Yep. And a lot of my best friends have come from that. And I'm like, if somebody can treat me like this, it became a place for me to get away. And that's why I adopted the name, the Cloverfield. Like, I'm hiding amongst the clovers. I'm a 4-leaf clover. You got to try to find me. And I'm amongst others. And you can join, when you join the Cloverfield, you're also a fellow clover. And you're also a 4-leaf. Like, you are what makes it positive and a safe place. You're hidden, but also you're shining, if that makes any sense. Like, you stand out. And you're not alone. You can come, get away from all that other crap, and just not have to worry about it. That's what I want it for myself too. So
absolutely.
An urge to go out and look for clovers now.
Don't look. That's the secret. You can't look.
They'll find you. Is that
I
how that works?
literally found them everywhere, at a vineyard, wherever I'm at. They're like, my friends are just shaking their head like, how? I'm like, I don't know. They're like, how do you see that, but you just don't see the pole in front of you? I was like, that's an issue between me and that pole. I've ran into a pole.
Chat.
Yeah.
What headset do you use? Because it looks lit, Blaze says.
This? It's an Arctis Pro wireless.
Nice.
Pro wireless. Steel Series. That's what it is.
And there's no sound cutout or distortion or anything?
Nope. I can actually take this to my mailbox and somehow it still work. Which is probably like 20 feet.
Bro, we've been
like
doing
I'm
this
upstairs, I go
wrong.
downstairs and I go outside. Yep. It's pretty nice.
Man, that's some reach.
Now I have a friend who's actually in your chat, Cryo, Gen X. He got these, but apparently they didn't work well for him. So I don't know. But they work fine for me. Ferocious, he's in chat. He also has the same pair, and I swear by these.
You got the lucky pair, I'm sure. It's just an unfair advantage.
Yeah, it is. I rubbed them with clovers before I put them on.
Knew it.
Oh man, yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about those. I've never pulled the trigger on those myself, but
I actually got different head things, earmuffs, I should say, because the ones that they originally came with, I actually just got a new pair recently. I got I don't even know, what are they called? The velour and the cloth. So these are the new ones because I got to clean these, and I wear these every day, so I couldn't handle going a day without letting them dry. So I was like, I need another pair. But these here, I had to get them to fit my ear because the original ones kind of come a little close to my ear. My ear kind of in the inside sticks out a little bit more, kind of rubs up against it. So, if for some reason they hurt your ears, you can always get new earmuffs on Amazon. But,
nice
I love them.
Options.
Nice.
Definitely look into them. I'll even send you the picture of what the box is.
By the way, Buckarito, thank you for the follow. Welcome. I appreciate you. See you guys in chat.
Yeah, if you have any
Oh my goodness.
questions for Clover, please feel free to drop them.
Yes.
It's a
Now,
pleasure to have her on here with the wealth of knowledge. I will say I do have one big question. I don't know if you've thought about it or not, but what is like the number one thing you wish streamers knew, or like that you wish you knew before you started streaming? What's like the number one thing?
That
If you
criticism,
could give
it
advice.
should only be from yourself, and
Ooh.
that it doesn't matter what other people criticize and think because everybody sees differently. It's okay to ask for opinions, but don't take them too hard if they hurt you. But only take those opinions of those that actually care for you, because then there could be trolls that could just harm you with those opinions. Not saying
Mm.
there's not legitimate people out there, but have faith and confidence in yourself that you made this journey, you made this choice to do it. You have the right choice you have that ability to make the right choice for yourself in your journey of streaming and content creating. And don't be too hard on yourself and bringing yourself down. If you're not seeing the numbers, don't look at the numbers. I hide the views, I hide the follows. I don't I don't look at those. I used to look at those in the beginning and it gets stressful. Numbers go up and they go down. They could, don't have those expectations, but just know what goals you're looking for. But don't focus on those numbers so much. Look at yourself as your own growth, and that is proof that you are growing. You changing what you can do. You learning a new thing, and just existing and keeping your mental health up. That is all on its own another battle, and to keep going toward with that.
Well, bro, I think this is the last podcast we'll ever
absolutely. I
do. I
love
don't
that.
think it could be said any better.
All
We'll just
right.
clip that. People come, where's the podcast? Nope, here's all you need to know. Like that was wow. That
It's
was
just,
an amazing like power punch there. Be your own critic. Like trust like go back and watch it. Go back and listen to it. If you're listening to the podcast right now, go back and listen to that till you memorize it. Like that right there will save you so much trouble in the long run. Oh
absolutely.
What? Did we just become best
Yeah.
friends?
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you for the follow. I appreciate you, Adam Sparty. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, that's something Gohpom and I always touch base on is, use the numbers in the correct way. They can be a nice tool to gauge some metrics over a period of time if you're trying something new content-wise to gauge maybe, but it's real easy, and I've done it myself, to focus too much on the numbers, and then when it's not going as well as you think it should or want it to, it's discouraging. So just know the numbers can be useful, but they have a place. They have a priority level, and it should be lower.
Yep.
You
Or
should
like
be,
especially like what times you're streaming, look at the average of that.
yes.
And I was told, someone was like, if you do a 24-hour stream, that'll help you gauge. No. Honestly,
No, it won't.
I mean, power to you guys doing that, if anyone does that, but I don't ever do it to the point where you're so tired. I say 12 to 16 at most. I see
Yeah.
Rebel in there. I don't know how he did that. But
Oh.
but I mean, if it's like a huge event and stuff like that, I get it. But don't try to get numbers off of that. Just try to be consistent, have a schedule where people can see it, which I don't have that yet. It's hard being a parent with it. But
But you
and
can
people
make it
know exactly, like, okay, you know, Clover starts at this time, or this time she says 8, she means 8:30 or whatever. Like, they always know, like, I'm usually a half hour late, whatever time I say. But they know estimately it's going to be after 6 p.m. So it's just having that consistent, people just kind of knowing, that helps. Oh, and whenever you guys are advertising, this goes for anybody, make sure you're saying, turn those notifications on, because like those who are just following Yak and Gohpom right now, turn the
Yes.
notifications on. Those matter. They matter. So that way you get notified and you don't forget about it.
Then you know when I'm going to be on and making terrible plays and looking like a bot. You'll love it.
Yeah, we got a few questions here from the chat. Does Yak
Sweet.
use Turtle Beach headset? I believe that's a yes, bro. And then,
Yep.
how is it growing as a streamer? I believe you kind of touched on this. And then, what content does Clover make? Like as you said, I feel like there's like a lot of comedy and humor. I don't know if it has to do with wine, but
No,
if you want to
not
just kind
anymore.
of, yeah.
When I first started streaming, I would get nervous and I would drink wine to help the nerves. But it's funny, I have like a whole wine thing sitting over here, moonshine, but I haven't been drinking so much because I've been so busy, and then by the time like I end stream, I'm just like I don't want to wake up with like now that I'm 30, it is so different. It's a different playing field when you're drinking.
It hits so hard.
Level 30, that's
Yes.
right. You're level
Yes.
37, you're level 38. You'll get to our level someday, Gohpom. And Rebel's younger.
Right?
A younger level, but
You youngins.
Back in my day.
oh wait,
awesome.
there was something else with that. You said something else with that question though.
I was gonna say
Oh, the
they asked what
content
kind
that
of
I make.
content, and then how it was growing as a streamer. Yeah.
Sometimes cringe. People say cringe. I do love cringe. I am a sucker for cringe. I'll show you. So I have things like this that I'll put on and just wear.
That looks ridiculous.
Oh, I am.
Nice. Okay.
Do that on Omegle. That right there alone. Don't have to do anything else.
So I have a blue blanket where I would wrap myself, and this is a child's mask, mind you. So I would cover myself to here, and all you see is, and I have a picture out to show you guys, and I just sit lower into my chair, and I sit there and I just stare. And I keep it a little bit darker, and I'll just go and I won't say anything other than, strong you are. How are you? And just, really bring it to life. And this is my most recent one from Christmas that I love the most.
Yes. The Chewbacca.
So I'll wear this on there. I've done it with robes, like, I won't show my face. I'll stand up like this, and I'll have like a robe on and, clothes underneath, of course, and then I'll just be dancing and no one knows what's gonna happen, and then and he next me so quick.
For those of you listening to the podcast, she's got some different masks on, like a Yoda mask and other stuff. Definitely check out the video. We'll definitely be tagging it in here, but oh my gosh.
It's okay that mine's not cinema quality.
It just goes to show, though, like, everybody's like, well, how do I make content? What do I do? First of all, be yourself, and secondly, you can just take simple things like a Yoda mask or Chewbacca mask and just do your kind of humor. Oh my gosh, that's...
and I dressed up as an old lady. I've always dressed up as an old lady since I was like, I don't know, as long as I can remember. I remember being 12 years old and waiting, sharing the computer, of course, with my brother. So I would walk around my grandparents' neighborhood, and I would dress as my grandma. I would put on her clothes. I would put on this red wig with curls, and I would put on her big sunglasses, and I would even hunch myself, and I would take a cane, and I would walk. I stuffed myself with toilet paper, and then I would put a pillow on my butt, and I would just walk around real slow in the neighborhood. And I look back and I'm like, man, I could have done so much more with my time, but I did that. And I would go to Walmart like that, whatever. And I still do that to this day. But I remember somebody actually came by and was like, ma'am, are you okay? And I'd be like, oh, I'm fine. And of course, I tried to change it. He came back with his wife, and he was like, I know it probably looked weird because I was a man by myself, but I brought my wife too. Would you like a ride back to your house? Are you okay? I'm like, oh, I'm just in pain, and trying to make my way back. But I continued walking, and I would do that, and people would stop and look. And I grew up doing stuff like that and pranks and things with my family. We would go to Atlantic City. We would take like a fake $20 bill, and I would put a piece of gum at the bottom, and I would pretend I'm tying my shoe and put it down as if I dropped it. People would scour for that. I had people fight over that $20 bill, and I would step back. And this was back before cell phones.
We would have all been friends.
Gosh, right?
Oh my gosh, we would have been pulling pranks. I just dress up as Waldo and go to Target and say I'm like looking for my wife or something. You got to have fun, Life is what you make of it.
We evolved that and put it into clear fishing line, and the amount of people that would chase after a fake $20 bill, but when they found out it was a fake $20 bill, they got mad.
Oh, I was going to say.
Got so mad. Like, they, because Atlantic City, they were drinking at the time, they'd be carrying their lottery chips out. That, it was more active back then. And my aunts and us, we would all just laugh. And we never really thought anything about it. But that could have been good content later. But it was just us having family fun. And that's what we consider fun, is trolling.
I could see a whole YouTube series for you on doing the granny thing, but like going to a big city for the day and just filming you at crosswalks waiting to cross.
I've gone trick or treating as she has a name now. It's just Granny Clover. I remember when I first had my stream went down 3 years ago, and I couldn't really play a game or anything. I think I tried playing Talisman online, but my computer wouldn't do it. I had my cell phone hooked up, streaming me, and I was playing the game, but nobody could see the game because my computer broke. So I just remember all of a sudden my numbers started going up and up. People were watching. It was in the IRL section back then. And the first thing I did when I had 800 viewers, I couldn't handle it. So I go and I change into an old lady. That's how I handled it. Of course, instead of like me just being me, I go and I turn into an old lady. I come back. I got the pillow. I got the everything. I got this old nightgown on, and I put my hair in a wig and everything. And that's what I did. And then the views went up from that. And people were like, what did I walk into? I'm like, and I was drinking too. That was a factor at that time. So that's what Drunk Clover did.
A little, yeah.
I hid under Granny Clover, but now sometimes she makes an appearance. She came and did the Valentine's Day stream and picked her Valentine instead of mine.
I feel like you could just do a series of going to different retail stores of just like a day out with Granny Clover or a day shopping with Granny Clover, and that would just be, oh my gosh, we'd be all over that. Oh, chat has one more question. I must know, does she like bears?
Yes, of course. Cute little bears, especially panda bears. Oh my god, they're chunky. Don't play with actual bears. You can get mauled.
Yeah. They're dangerous.
Yeah, we're not condoning bears. We're gonna get letters. We're gonna get nasty emails saying, "Well, they said it was okay." We did not.
What else did I do as Granny? I've come in and I would just be like, oh, hi there. I'm Granny Clover. It's so nice to meet you guys. I hope you guys are enjoying the content. Make sure you follow this young, handsome yak man and Gohpom. They're wonderful. Oh, I might just take them out on a date, but this old lady needs to get going for bingo. That's another thing I've done on here was bingo as Granny.
Oh, Granny, Yak really appreciates the shout out. Thank you, young lady.
I'll be back.
I have a grandma voice set up on my stream deck. It's a picture of Betty White, but I have a grandma voice set up for trolling on Fortnite at some point.
Oh, that's awesome.
I just set that up last week. So
that's why I sound like this, and I think you're just the sweetest young lady.
Oh my gosh, are we gonna have like a Granny stream at some point? Like,
oh my god, we should.
Well, that would be hilarious.
I'll host bingo. You guys knit. I don't know how to knit,
yeah.
so
we'll be the bearded grannies or something. You know, we're related. We're the rare few of our kind.
Bearded grannies.
We knit our beard hairs. I don't know. We can.
I guess I'll wear that swimsuit because that's the only thing that makes.
Oh man, I'll be crying, laughing the whole time. I am dying to see that if you get that edited up.
Recruit says please. No.
Please no.
I'm hearing.
They said
I'm hearing
please.
Yes. I'm hearing.
I heard
yes.
please. Once you put please in front of it, yes, I will do that.
Yeah. Please no. Please yes. That's what I heard.
Manners open a lot of doors. All right. Well, we're getting about. We try to keep it around an hour just to keep editing reasonable and uploading and stuff like that. I have one final question from my end, and this is to help us determine if you're a serial killer or not. Pepsi or Coke?
Pepsi.
What? No, I'm just kidding.
100%. Though I quit soda months ago. Pepsi, Dr. Pepper.
See, I like wild cherry Pepsi.
Oh, that's good too.
If it comes between the colas, I need a Coca-Cola in the glass bottle.
Wild cherry vanilla.
I like Coca-Cola from a fountain because it's not as syrupy and too sweet, where Pepsi just is automatically bubbly.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have a whole debate on this sometime.
Yeah. Join us on Twitter as we debate.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pepsi or Coke. That's like asking cats or dogs.
I'm a cat person. My cat was here. I swear I have 2 cats, but
I have 2 cats and a dog. I have a Labrador, and he acts like a cat.
So then which is it? Cats or dogs?
Both. All animals, if I could have animals. All of them. Have my own little zoo.
Good answer.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
This has been a blast. Yes, thank you.
Please mention, where can people find you? I think you said you're on Twitter, you're on YouTube, you're on Reddit.
Links will be in description below.
I'm retired. No, I'm just kidding.
Never mind. No links. You guys already missed the retirement party if you're listening.
We'll meet up with
YouTube,
Granny
Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, all of the social
All the
medias that
things?
exist. Not a Omegle. I mean, you might see Granny or Yoda or a bear or a goat.
Just search
Favorite
Omegle Granny Clover. I think that right there, the next viral video. You heard it here first.
Oh my goodness, right?
All right, perfect. Thank you so much, guys. Please give her a follow. Thank you so much for being here. And we will see you all next time. And as always, stay healthy, stay awesome.